What's up, Nim? Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. Tap the screen. We do not have the longest live today because I am busy working and spending time with peace. Go ahead, tap the screen so we can get some convos in. Yeah, I know the reductio, brother. What up, yeah? What's up, Johnny Blends? Good morning. I was told to say burst. I don't know what that means, but what up, Doc Smitty? Phronimos, you can request up if you like. You can request up, and you can find out. Do you understand? I am Mrs. Benjamin. 1 second. I'm waiting for Phronimos to request up. I'll give it a couple seconds. Yo, what up, Paul Smith? Johnny Blends, bro, I've been enjoying the Bible study. Oh, here it is. Enjoyed the Bible study. Only joined twice so far, but it is good. I'm glad you're enjoying it, brother. I'm very glad you're enjoying it. If you guys don't know what he's talking about, we do a Bible study every Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Discord. On the Discord. Now notice, guys, Phronimos, hello, my queen. Phronimos is not requesting up. That's why he's not on the stage. But he'll chirp in the chat. What's up, I am?
Greetings. It says Allah is illogical.
Yep.
And that's kind of a generalized statement. Do you mind stating like what part of it is illogical?
Yeah, I'm assuming you're a Muslim.
I don't subscribe to any religion.
Okay, well, this is directed towards Muslims, but what I'm saying is the God of Islam, him being a strict monotheistic God, meaning that he's only one person, is illogical and cannot be possible.
Okay, well, actually, Allah
means God in Arabic, right? Sorry, I had to finish your sentence.
Okay, so let's think of it over here, like the United States is built on the idea of divine providence, and we see that works. It's just that just like me, I'm known by different people in my family as different things, like my children.
Yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off, but yeah, look, you're incorrect. If you obviously have not studied.
Well, actually, let's look it up. Let's look up what Allah means.
I already know what the word means, but when it comes to Islam, right? Allah is a name of their God. When you talk to Christians, God is not the name of our God. Okay, God is just a title. For Muslims, God, Allah or God is a name. That's an actual nominal name for their God. And we don't worship the same God. So you would know this if you studied it, but well, I know you haven't.
Do know no, that Allah is the same God as
That's actually incorrect.
Yahweh.
That's actually incorrect. If you go ask any Muslim if the name of their God is Yahweh, they'll emphatically tell you no. It's incorrect.
Well, they may not know.
Well, that's according to them. We don't have the same God. Like, I don't care what you think. Like, I don't care if you think I don't
Well, let
care
me
if
ask you
you
this.
think the Christians and the Muslims have the
Well,
same God. Like,
well,
it doesn't
can
matter.
you?
Like, at the end of the day, we don't have the same God.
Okay, well, can you and I agree that they might need to study to know that their Allah is the
No, I think
same
they're right. I
Yahweh?
agree with them. I agree that we don't have the same God because they worship a God that has a slave master relationship with his creation. We worship a God that has a father child relationship. They worship a God that allows a 9-year-old to sleep with a 53-year-old. We don't have a God that allows that.
Now,
They have a
see,
God. They have a God that allows a husband to strike their wife if they sense disobedience. We don't have a God that does that. Actually allows that. So we worship different gods, different names too, different
let me
names.
just say this. Like, I think that when you say Allah, then you smash it to a doctrine that was or belief systems, then we do it a disservice. But the name Allah in itself is equivalent with
No, it's not.
Yahweh because
Nope.
He gave the same provisions to.
Nope. Not to what it's referencing. If we're referencing the God of the Quran, it is not the same God.
Okay, let's take it all the way back to how um, Ishmael was even promised anything.
Okay.
It was the same God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It was just that Ishmael was born like an outside child that wasn't of the same, um, I guess, ethnicity as
What does Ishmael got to do with this?
Because that's where the break off to Islam came from. It
No, it
came
didn't.
from, huh?
No, it didn't. And even if I granted to you and said that it did, who cares? What is Ishmael? How does Ishmael support your argument?
Because that's where the split comes off with someone
Who
calling
cares if that's where the split
your name.
comes? Why does that mean that they worship the same God now? Why does that mean that?
Because they got their provisions for their kingdom from the same God, which
No, they
is
didn't.
Yahweh.
No, they didn't.
Okay. All right.
No, they
Well,
didn't. Their kingdom is ran by more than likely a demon.
okay, we can say ran by, but the initial
The,
authorization.
the whole religion of Islam, the whole religion of Islam is false and a lie.
You're right. Our religion
Okay. Oh, okay, yeah. You know best, right? And what are you, an atheist?
I'm not an. I am a servant of the Most High God.
Yeah, and who's
And
that? And who's that?
Yahweh is the
Yahweh. Okay, and do you think Yahweh brought Islam?
No,
So do Muslims worship your Yahweh?
Everybody's confused.
Do Muslims worship your Yahweh? Do Muslims just answer the question? Do Muslims? No, thank you very much. So you agree with me at the end of the day, and you've been arguing with yourself. Get the hell out of here. What a moron. What an absolute idiot. What's up? Hello. The Great Denzi. You are live. You are live. You are on the show. Welcome to the show. Oh, where you went? Hey guys, Fronimus, Mister wants to chirp in the chat, acting like he can defend this argument. Still has not requested up.
Hello.
What's up? Oh, you a little kid, man, and you Christian. What you doing up here?
So I'm just wondering, are you Christian?
Yeah. Are you?
Yeah, I am.
What you doing up here?
So I'm just wondering, what about Allah do you think is illogical?
Oh, you want to defend Muslims' God?
No, not at all. I'm just like wondering what about. I'm just like
yeah. He's only one person. He's only one person. It's not possible.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Hey, go clean your room, bro. I know it's summertime, but that means you got more time to clean your room.
You're the next person who's not a Muslim. I'm dropping immediately. I'm just letting y'all know, because if y'all want to know so bad, stick around.
Stick around, gang. We gonna show you.
You want to know? You'll find out. Trust me. Just stay around.
We gonna find out. We gonna mess around and find out. Hey, tap the screen. YouTube, what's up? Enigma on YouTube told that little kid, clean your room, mate. Clean your room, mate. Nictorinos on YouTube says, go clean your room fallacy. He's appealing to the go clean your room fallacy. Islam has no ties to Ishmael, 30 generations missing. Amen. But even if it did have ties to Ishmael, who cares? Who cares? Why does that mean anything? We got Johnny playing Lil Kid, man. Lil Kid. We got Lil Kids coming in here. It's summer break for some folks. They got more time, so we got the little kids coming in the morning lives when they should be at school. When they should be at school, but it's the summer break, so they got more time on their hands. St. John said the Arabs before Muhammad were polytheists. St. John was correct. And they may not be polytheists anymore, but they're still worshiping the wrong God. If people think that just because, or the Muslims think just because they say they worship one God, that means they cannot at all be worshiping the wrong God when they say that. Like, okay, you could be worshiping one God, but what if it's the wrong God? Is it good now? Why is Fronimo still chirping in the chat, but he won't come up on stage? Here, let's send him an invite. Let's mute him in the chat now. Because he was chirping yesterday on Elijah's live. He was chirping again this morning. And let's not give him any more freedom. Let's let him come up and defend this argument. Since he thought Omar cooked me on this, he can come up and just use Omar's arguments. What up, Tori? God bless. What time is it for me? I'm Eastern Standard Time. So 8:47 a.m. Muhammad himself didn't say that his lineage goes back to Ishmael. Is that true? I thought maybe he made a claim like that, or he alluded to it, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Oh, so Fornimos never goes up on stage, huh? Oh, that's crazy. Well, I guess he's been muzzled, because if he don't go on stage, and he muted now, he ain't got nothing to say. That means he either got to stick around and watch, or he can just tip on out of here. You just don't tip on. I heard that Ishmael claim is a later development. Yeah, I mean, probably so. Probably helps them in their mind cope that that the religion is true. The Ishmael claim. But even if it does go back to Ishmael, which I agree. Oh, even with the stuff that I've looked at in the claims, you're right. There is a break in the genealogy somewhere. You can't really definitively prove that Muhammad goes back to Ishmael. But even if he did, what does that do? Well, he means he came from Abraham, and in the Bible, God promised Ishmael a great nation, so that means he must be worshiping the right God. No, it doesn't mean that. Just promised a great nation, meaning like there's going to be a lot of people. It's going to be a lot of people. So therefore, yeah, the promise may have been fulfilled, but what else does that promise? Does that promise that they're not going to fall into the worship of the wrong God? Is that what that promise means? You know, didn't Israel fall into the wrong worship of the wrong God too? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it don't actually follow, you know? It doesn't. So I don't know what argument that helps them. I just don't get it. All right, tap the screen. Man, this topic, bro. This topic is a great topic if someone has the balls to step up, you know? Ishmael is the son of an Egyptian woman. And he married an Egyptian woman. What does this make his offering? Oh my gosh, Nictorinos. What? Yes, Abraham had a baby with an Ishmael. I mean, not an Ishmael. Had Ishmael with an Egyptian woman. This is where we get the Ishmaelites, right? Who are supposedly the Muslims or the Arabs. But there's no proof of that. Ain't no proof of that, man. Any belief in God is illogical. Oh, nice. You want to get refuted and baked. And baked. Yo, bear got baked. Bear got baked. Baked. Who's willing to challenge Bear the Image? Yeah, we waiting, man. This topic I might have to switch the topic to something more comfortable, more comfy, so they feel a little bit better about it. This topic, man, this topic be hitting folk, man. This topic it be like, it be hitting them right in the face and they get the little stars, you know? They start seeing stars. They don't know how to respond to this, man. Oh, my God is not illogical. How funny coming from a Trinitarian. From a Trinitarian saying that my God is illogical. Allah is perfectly logical. There's nothing more logical than worshiping one God. It's always the logical. Hold on. We may have a fish. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Hello. Hello.
Yo,
How you doing?
doing good?
Are you Muslim?
No.
Didn't think so with that accent. Why'd you request? Oh. What's up, free naturalist? I know, Bright. Like, nope. Nope. What's up? Hello. All right, man. See you later, man. That's it. This man said this man's name was Polish food. The hell? Ain't no way, man. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, you a little kid, man. You clean your room today?
Yeah.
Good job. See you later. Jim, this is for Muslims, man. You see that man with that little hat thing on his head? That's a Muslim. We want to talk to that guy. And when you said nope with that accent, man, I ain't never met a country Muslim in my life. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all ever met somebody from like Alabama with an Alabama accent who's a Muslim? Alhamdulillah, man. Alhamdulillah. That don't even feel right. What's up?
What's up, brother? Why are you saying Allah is illogical?
Because he is, man. You're a Muslim, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Give me proofs.
Yeah, so like for example, you believe your God is just like a singular, strict, monotheistic belief,
Yeah.
right? Just one person, not like the Trinity where it's three persons, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you guys also make the claim that Allah is the most loving. That's an eternal attribute of His, correct?
No, brother, they are just attributes, not other person. They are all.
No, I didn't say it was another person.
Yeah.
I didn't say that. I know it's just an attribute, right? But it's an eternal. It's an eternal attribute, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. And then you also believe that your God is fully independent, meaning that if he's dependent on anyone, he can't be God. Correct?
Yeah, like in Surah Ikhlas.
Okay. Good. Very good. All right.
Yes.
Now, my question to you is this.
Yeah.
Can Allah express all forms of love without creation?
Wait, repeat.
Can Allah express all forms of love without creation?
Can he express all forms of love without creation? Yeah.
Yeah.
He can.
How?
No, wait. In this case, he can't because you have to go with logic. Like,
You said he
God
can't
create
or
a
he?
square the circle?
Okay, good. Now you said he can't or he can.
If there's no creation at all, no. If there's one creation, yes, he can.
Okay, very good. Well, that's the reason why he's illogical, because that means your God is dependent on creation in order to express his attributes.
Oh man, that doesn't mean anything, brother.
Yeah,
Like,
it does.
can God do a squared circle?
No, he can't. And this would be an example of
And
that.
why? Why?
This
Is
is
it
this
not
is an
omnipotent?
this is an example because you said your God is independent, but
Wait.
he is
Is your
dependent
God?
on
Yeah, wait.
just
Is
follow
your God?
follow. Hey, random, follow along, okay?
Yeah,
You said he's independent, but he depends on creation to use his ability to love.
that doesn't mean anything.
It
I
does
already
mean
said.
something. It's a
Can
contradiction,
God
brother.
do a squared circle?
No, he can't, and that's why what I just said is like a squared circle. That's a contradiction
Why he can't?
because
Explain.
it's illogical. It's a contradiction. Contradictions don't exist.
Like the law.
Right, and you just said
It's
that your God is in.
logic,
Here's the
you know?
contradiction. Here's the contradiction. You just said your God is independent, but then you expressed how he is dependent. That's a
No,
contradiction.
he's not dependent. If he wants to do something, he can do it.
Okay, how can he express all forms of love without creation? How could he do that?
And can your God do so?
Yes, but we're talking about your God. How can he express? How can he express all forms of love without creation?
Yeah, I'm back. Tell me, how can your God
Well,
idealist?
we're not talking about my God. We're talking about your God. How can he express all forms of love without creation?
Are you here?
We're waiting on the answer. And guys, this is why Allah is illogical. Hopefully everybody's watching this because there's no answer to this question other than the correct and honest answer, which is yes, our God is dependent. And if he's dependent, he can't be the transcendent creator as they claim he is. What's up?
Yes. What do you want to ask?
Are you Muslim?
Alhamdulillah.
Okay. Yeah, so your God would be illogical because you believe in a strict monotheistic God, meaning he's only one person, not three persons like the Trinity. And that's not possible.
So Trinity is more logical to you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But I'm going to show you how being just one person is illogical.
So do you believe that God was a Jewish man who died on a cross?
Yep, but I'm talking about your God at the moment. So, are you
Okay,
gonna defend the argument or no?
No. If you believe your God is a Jewish man who died
Oh,
on a
you're not.
cross,
Oh, I see.
then
I see what's going
that's
on.
it.
I see what's going on. You thought you were gonna come up here and change the topic because you know you can't answer this question, and you were trying to change the topic to deflect the fact that your religion has issues to it. You don't want people to see that, so you want to draw the attention away from your religion and try to draw it onto ours by asking a question that has some sort of shock value to it. Oh my God, they worship a Jewish man, right? To try to draw the attention away from the fact that your religion has a lot of issues to it. It's not logical. What's up?
What's up, bro?
So, are you Muslim?
No, praise Jesus.
All right, man. Take it easy. Have a good day. It's for Muslims only. Only Muslims request. Only Muslims request. See, I'm so convinced that the reason why Muslims move to polemics more than apologetics is because they want to draw the attention away from their own religion. And one of their famous and favorite polemics to bring is the LPT. Can you respond to the LPT, please? Which argument of the LPT? You know, the LPT. How do you explain it? What about the LPT? The LPT. Oh, if you're not gonna explain it, you're concede. So they bring the LPT, but really what it is a distraction, because there's an LPT for them too. The logical problem of Tawheed. Because when we pop the hood and look under there, man, something ain't jiving, bro. Something ain't happening. Something ain't working out. You say your God's independent, fully transcendent, self-sufficient being, but he can't use all his attributes without creation. It's crazy, man. And his attributes are supposed to be identical to his essence. So if he's like if he actually can't use any of his, like some of his attributes of his essence, then like that would mean he's composite. The Trinity, look at the irony of this comment from a Muslim. The Trinity has fried my brain. The fact that he himself, the Shahada, I believe, when you take the Shahada, that starts to fry like the frontal lobe of your brain, okay? Starts to get cooked. And the fact it gets cooked so bad that you start to see people that actually are thinking coherently and logically, and you start to think they're the ones that have the fried brains. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But you already know, guys, this is why we do these streams. This is why we get the attention we get, because this religion cannot deal with this argument or the other arguments that other apologists bring. Trinity is literally a 3-in-1 deal. I don't know what that means. But see, look, if I was to bring a topic here that would say, hey, the Trinity is 100% logical, prove me wrong, the request box would be filled right now. Everybody will be like, oh, I can do that. I can talk about that topic. But notice when it's talking about their own religion, it's not something that they want to come up and discuss. It's not something they want to come up and discuss. Why? Because they can't really defend it. But Christians, even Christians that are not the most knowledgeable of the Trinity, not philosophically inclined, we're still willing to kind of stand on our truth here and do the best that we can. Like, I'm not a philosophical expert by any means. But guess what? I could stand on it. I could defend it. Because the truth is the truth, and, you know, we just going to stand on it. I ain't going to run. I'm not going to be afraid, hey, yo, I made a mistake or misspoke or anything. Like, we ain't going to run. We going to stand. But very little, good, thank you. But very little Muslims want to do the same thing. So, anyways, we have one, I think. What's up?
Yeah, so what's your argument that God don't exist?
Are you a Muslim?
Yeah, I'm Muslim.
Okay. Yeah, so your God being, you guys believe in a strict monotheistic God, meaning one person,
For sure.
one person, not three persons like the Christians with the Trinity, okay? And my argument, well, my claim is that that God cannot actually be God.
How comes?
And here's my argument. So you guys do claim that Allah is the most loving, and that's an eternal attribute, correct?
He described himself as the most merciful a lot.
Yeah, and the most loving as well, Al-Wadud.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, you agree?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, and that's an eternal attribute of his, okay? The other thing is, you believe that, just like anybody else who's a classical theist, that God is fully independent and does not need anything outside of himself in order for him to exist, or in order for him to in order for anything within his nature. Okay? Do you agree with that?
That God doesn't require anything.
Yep.
Yeah, completely.
Okay, awesome. So now my question to you is this. Can Allah express all forms of love without creation?
What do you mean by that?
What I mean is there's different forms of love. Like, for example, in the Quran, there's a form of love that is described as to giving to charity. That's something that you guys are obligated to do. Okay? Give to the poor. Okay?
Okay.
So that would be a form of love, correct? Prioritizing someone else's priorities over yours. Would you agree?
I wouldn't categorize it as a form of love. I'll categorize it as a form of worship.
Your worship is a form of worship?
It's a form of worship.
Okay. Let me ask you something. When a married couple, when a husband does something for his wife, can that be classified as a form of love?
He does something for his wife. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So then that is a form of love, right? So
if you were to like provide for your wife, for example, that's a form of love, right?
Yep. Yeah, just doing something for a person that you love, right? It's an act of love, correct?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, good. So my question to you is, can Allah express all forms of love without creation?
How many forms of love are we talking about here?
We don't have to talk about many. Let's talk about the form of love that we just described, doing something for someone else. Can Allah express that form of love without creation?
Can God express loving human beings without creation?
Can he express loving anyone outside of himself without creation?
But why does God need to express loving himself?
Well, if he is the ultimate being, right? And he is fully self-sufficient and he's perfect, that means that he can express his attributes fully, perfectly, and independently. Right?
What if God doesn't require to do that exactly? Like, what if he doesn't?
He does require to do that, because if he has the attribute of loving, and he cannot express all forms of love without creation, then that means he is imperfect.
But what if someone's capable? For example, I'm capable of feeding a homeless person, but I'm not required to do it though.
Yeah, no, I get it. But you're a creature, right?
Okay.
And we're not talking about like just actions here. We're talking about an eternal attribute of your God, right?
Okay.
If it's an eternal attribute, then that means we're describing something of his nature.
Okay. I'll explain. I'll say this, right? Just because God has the capacity, or Allah has the capacity to love, it doesn't mean that he has to show it at all times.
Okay, good. Now that's fine. You can stand on that. But remember, you said your God is independent.
Definitely.
Okay, good. So my question is, can he use the attribute of being the most loving without creation?
What are we getting at exactly here? What are we getting at? What's the main point?
I'll just answer the question honestly, and I'll give you my point, depending on how you answer that.
Because I kind of already answered it. I'll be honest. Like
Why can't you answer it?
Like, just because God has the capacity to do something doesn't mean he has to act on it.
Yeah. No. What I'm saying is the attribute. Can he? Can't. I know. I'm not saying he has to act on it. What I'm asking is, can he use the ability of being the most loving without creation? What's the answer? What's the honest answer to that? The honest answer is no. Okay. Would you agree?
I would say this, right? I would say the fact that God has created, for example, the heavens and the earth is an expression of his love and mercy, for sure.
Yeah, but we're talking about without creation. So the honest answer would be no, right? He cannot use
just because he hasn't created the heavens and earth, basically. That's not what we're saying.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I just want you to answer honestly. The honest answer And you may not think this is the honest answer, but I think it is.
Go ahead.
The honest answer, I think, tell me if you agree or not, is that the answer is no. Allah cannot use the attribute of the most loving without creation. Is that fair to say?
Honestly, it's neither here nor there. Like, I don't see that as.
Yeah, I know you're trying to anticipate what the point is, but I'm just asking, is that a fair
I sort of see where you're
statement?
going with this. Basically, I see.
Is that a fair? You may see where I'm going with it. You may see where I'm going with it. No problem, Steely.
You're trying to trip me up. You're trying to trip me up.
I'm not trying to trip you up. I just want to know. I just want to know what's the honest answer. Is that a fair? Steely, calm down. Steely, calm down. Calm down. Hold on, bro. You can speak after you answer my question. And you can speak and you can elaborate. Depending on your
will include everything that.
Yeah, but I would like a yes or no first, and then you can elaborate.
It is a yes or no answer. No, it's not.
Yeah, it is a yes or no answer. It is. Yes, it is. Hey, Lear, I'm gonna give you the question again. I'm gonna give you a question again.
That's what you're trying to do.
I'm just trying to get you to stand on a position. You don't want to stand on the honest position because you know the implications.
I'll say this, okay? Are you gonna allow me to speak?
No, not until you're not answering this question. So no, I'm not gonna allow you to speak. Not right now. No, not. I'm gonna ask it again. I'm gonna give you one more chance. Okay? You can answer it. This is a strict dichotomy. Okay? It's a yes or no, and you can answer it one way or the other, and then you can elaborate on whatever your answer is. But is it fair to say that Allah cannot use his attribute of the most loving without creation? It's just yes or no. You can respond. And I would like a yes or no, and then you can elaborate. It doesn't matter how you answer it. You can elaborate on your answer.
Okay. Like I said before, the creation is an expression of God's love. Yeah, I agree. Can we agree on that?
You're still not going to answer the question.
Can we agree now?
It's irrelevant to the topic. I'm asking. It's irrelevant to the topic. The topic has to do with without creation. So this is irrelevant.
Okay.
So you're actually shifting topics.
I'm not. I'm literally staying on the topic.
No, you're not. You're talking about how he loves with creation. When I'm asking without creation. I'm
literally trying to be on the same page at first. Right?
Hey, brother. Why don't you want to answer my question? What's wrong? Let me ask you this. What's wrong with the question that I asked? Steely. No, I'm not. The projection is actually you're actually projecting that onto me. You're the one that's actually being evasive. Because so what was here, Steely? What was my question? Let's see if you can.
Is God all loving without creation? Basically?
No, that wasn't my question.
Is he eternally?
That was not my question.
Is he always capable of loving?
That was not my question. You're not Steely. You're not even listening anymore. Yet you're trying to say I'm the one that's being evasive. Do you see how hypocritical you sound? You're not even listening to what I'm saying, and you're not even answering my question. So now, listen. I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna repeat what I said in my question, and then I want you to tell me if there's anything wrong with my question. Okay? So the question I asked you was, is it fair to say that Allah cannot use the attribute of the most loving without creation? Is that a fair statement to make? Now, is there anything wrong with that question?
Okay.
Is there anything wrong with that question, bro? If you don't answer this question, we're done.
I basically said the same thing.
All right.
I said the same thing.
You're not going to answer questions, brother. So this is what happens, guys. I just want you to see this. This is what happens. When they get to a point where they know that these hard questions start to come, that if they say yes, they see the problem. If they say no, they see the problem. They think I'm the one that's trying to trip them up. They think I'm the one that is creating this scenario that they lose no matter which answer they choose. When in actuality, I'm not the one that created this scenario. I'm just asking honest questions, logical, fair questions. The reason why it seems like I'm the one that's doing it is because I'm the one asking questions. But the real problem that's tripping him up is his own belief. His own belief is false. when you start to question these things and get to the root of the belief, it will feel like you're cornered because you want to believe that what you believe is true, but when it's actually being challenged to the root of it, it's going to feel like someone's attacking your worldview. It's going to feel personal. And that's what ends up happening. And he starts projecting like as if I'm the one that's being tricky. I have nothing but fair questions. What's up?
In the beginning, he created, so we speaking about some hypothetical stuff.
Are you a Muslim?
Yeah.
Okay. So you don't believe at any point creation didn't exist?
Nope.
So you believe creation's eternal?
I believe God created off the rip. So all this talking about what if like that don't even make no, that's not valid.
So you believe creation is eternal?
I believe God created.
So you're not going to answer questions either, huh? Do you believe creation is eternal?
Like, I'm telling you.
I'm not trying to make it. Look, listen. You're on my stage, right? I'm asking you a question, especially if you're going to ask me questions and I answer them. I would expect the same kind of respect back, that if I ask you questions, you're going to answer them. You're not going to just avoid them, right? So are you saying creation is eternal?
No.
Okay. So if the creation is not eternal, then at some point it did not exist, right?
Wrong.
Okay. So creation always existed.
In the beginning of your book, what it say?
All right, man. See you later, bro.
That's what I know.
Whatever, bro. Creation is not eternal, but it always existed. All right, there we go. This is the type of brains we're dealing with now. What the hell is going on, bro? This is the type of stuff that we have to deal with sometimes, man. This is the type of things we got to deal with, man. Ain't no way, man. What's up? What's up? Are you Muslim?
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
Okay. All right. So I'm making a claim that your God is illogical.
Your point is that Allah cannot be the all-merciful without his creation. But that is bullshit, bro. That's one of the weakest points that I've ever heard in my life.
Why?
Because that's senseless. Why have Allah be depend on humanity or his creation? He's Allah, bro.
Okay. Well then, all right, that's fair. You believe that he doesn't need creation. So if that's true, then you should be able to answer this question. Can Allah express mercy without creation?
Express? To who?
I don't know. I'm asking you. Can he express mercy without creation?
No, because there's no one to express.
Okay. So
But
does he?
have,
So does he
there's
need?
Allah.
So does he need?
Allah does not need anyone.
Does he need
He's
create?
Allah,
Okay,
bro.
no worries. Does he need creation in order to use that attribute?
To use it for the creation, yes.
Okay. So then he is dependent on creation to use that attribute.
No, to use it, but to be it is something different, brother.
How can you be something that you're not? Like, how can you be merciful and not give mercy?
Yeah, that's Allah.
How can you do that? How is that possible?
Yeah, that's Allah.
So it's not possible.
You ask
Okay,
me
good.
how Allah
You're
can
proving
do
my
it.
point. You're proving my point. You're saying, yeah, that's Allah. Yeah, we don't see that being possible. And yeah, I agree with you. That's Allah. Allah is not possible. Allah doesn't actually. Allah, the way you describe it, doesn't actually exist. Can't exist.
Can't? Allah
Cannot.
can't exist.
You're the God. I believe you worship a God that does exist, but the way you guys think he exists, that's not possible. That's fake.
Okay, I think, how can humanity exist when Allah doesn't exist? That's,
What?
how to say it in English? It's a little bit senseless.
Okay. Yeah. Whatever. I don't know what that has to do with this topic, brother. Let's get back on topic. If your God has an you believe that these attributes of his are eternal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. So if they're eternal, they're not another God. So that would mean that this is within his nature, right?
Yes, one of his names.
Yes. All right. They're all within his nature, correct?
Correct.
All right. All right. So, in order for him to use these attributes, like being merciful or the most loving, does he need creation in order to use these attributes?
To express it is okay. Yeah.
So, yes, he does.
Show.
GG's.
But
He's
to
dependent.
be
GG's.
all-merciful, he don't need
GG's.
us.
GG's. He's
He
dependent.
can delete our humanity and create another creation if he wants. And that's not even a hard work.
He is dependent. He is dependent.
No,
That attribute is not being used. There's a part of his nature that is not being used. It's inactive before creation, and it becomes active once creation happens. Meaning that his nature has changed. Meaning he's within time. He's not eternal, and he's also not independent.
No. He was every time all-merciful, but he all shows to his creation.
Right.
When
So
he was created.
So something in his nature has changed.
How can Allah show me mercy without I being created?
Right.
He's always
Ado, I think
I'm not,
listen, brother, listen.
agree.
I don't think, and I'm gonna probably just have to end the conversation here because I don't think you understand the implications of what you're saying. And I'll tell you what it is, and you can go research it and you can come back. Okay? The implications of what you're saying is two things. Okay? If you believe that Allah's attribute is eternal.
Yeah. Eternal. He's the
Ado, you gotta listen. You gotta be quiet and listen because you honestly don't know what you're talking about. I'm not gonna continue the conversation.
You think I don't know who's Allah?
Okay.
Bro,
No, I just don't think you know what the implications of my argument are. Okay?
Yeah, man. I listen to your stream since 1 hour.
Okay, bro. All right, take it easy. I'm going to talk to the chat because you don't know how to shut your mouth. Okay? All right. If these attributes are eternal, meaning they have no beginning, no end, that means they don't change. They can't change. That means because change is something that's within time. Okay? So if Allah is not subjected to time, then that means he cannot change. If his attribute is not subjected to time, then that attribute cannot change. You also say that Allah is fully independent, meaning that he doesn't need anything else in order to be Allah. And these attributes are what Allah are, right? That's what he is, right? Now, if you say that this attribute of being merciful or loving was inactive before creation and then went into activity, then that would be a change. He's no longer eternal. If you say that he needs creation in order to use these attributes, then he is dependent, no longer independent. Therefore, this is now a contradiction. Does that make sense? All right. Let's try this guy who's coming up. Single person all knowing, you must know that he's all knowing, that he knows all knowing. Factors, I don't know what's going on, but it's the second time I'm trying to bring you up, and it's not connecting. So I don't know what's going on with that. What's up?
Yeah, how are you doing? So I have a question for you. Since we're talking
The question,
about attributes.
we're actually talking about your God.
Yeah, we're sticking to the topic of
We're sticking, which we're talking about the attributes of Allah then, right?
Yeah, we're sticking with the topic attributes of God.
No, the attributes of your God, right?
Yeah, I'm asking a question about
the attributes of your God, right? We're going to talk about the attributes of your God, like based off of the 99 names in the Quran, right?
Yeah, we're talking about the attributes of God.
Oh, yeah.
So
Okay, good.
Do you believe that God is the creator? Do you believe that that's part of his attribute?
That's something that is out of his love, his attribute of love. We wouldn't say that that's an eternal attribute of God. No.
So when he creates evil, it's out of love.
He doesn't create evil.
So where does evil come from?
Evil is just a privation of good.
Yeah, so he creates it, or is it outside of his creation, evil?
Evil's not created.
It's not created?
No.
So it's outside of God's creation.
Peace, don't worry, I got it. I know he shifted. What'd you say? What was the question?
So evil's outside of God's creation.
Evil is not a creation. Is not a creation. No.
So it's outside of God's creation. So is it a
Evil.
God?
Evil doesn't have an ontology.
Is it a God then? Evil.
No, it's not an
This is
ontology.
outside of God's creation.
Evil doesn't have an ontology.
No, but evil is something which is created.
No, it's not. I just said it's not.
So where did it come from? Evil.
Evil is a privation of good.
What do you mean by privatization of good?
Just like darkness doesn't have an ontology. It's just a privation of light.
So good. Who created good?
Good is just anything within the will of God that's aligned with the will of God.
The good is not from God.
Is the will of God from God?
No, the will of God is whatever He wills.
Okay, so is that from God?
Yes, from God. Will.
Okay, good. So if good is whatever is within God's will, then it's from God, correct?
Yeah, whatever God wills is from Him. So is evil from Him? Or is it
No.
outside of the?
No.
So
Because by definition, evil is a privation of good, meaning away from God's will.
So where does it come from? So when you basically are evil, you're basically more powerful than God.
Evil happens when there are free will agents that move away from God's will. That's how evil happens.
No, well, that sounds like essentially evil is more powerful than God.
Who said that? Who said that?
Will.
Who said that?
That's what you're saying. You're saying evil
Hey,
is not from God,
Bob, real
essentially.
quick. You got like one more minute of this, and then we're shifting right back to the topic because we know you're scared to talk about the topic. The reason why I allowed this to happen is to show that I can actually answer these questions. And now when we shift it back over to the actual topic, I want the chat to see how I can answer these questions, no problem. But when I start to ask you questions, you're not going to be able to do the same. All right. So I wanted to demonstrate the hypocrisy of Muslims. All right. So you got one more minute. You got one more minute. One more minute, and I'm gonna put the timer on. You got one more minute of asking your questions, and then we're gonna expose your hypocrisy. All right, go ahead.
So essentially, God's the creator, correct?
Mhm.
Do you believe that this is an attribute, creation?
We don't believe it's an
Him being
eternal
a
attribute of
creator,
his.
him
No.
being a creator. Or
Him
does
being
he
the creator
have
is
another
not.
creator?
Him being the creator is not an eternal attribute. No.
So it's not part of it. So there's other beings that can create.
No. The creating is an action. It's a temporal action. So it's not an eternal attribute. No.
So is there another God that can create?
No.
So he's the only one that can create.
Mm-hmm.
So he's the creator. It's basically part of his attribute.
Yeah, it's not an eternal attribute. No matter how many times you want to force that it's an eternal attribute,
created.
Bob, you need to let me finish. No matter how many times you want to force me into admitting that that being the creator is an eternal attribute, it's not in our belief. It's a temporal action. You got one more question. The timer's up. One more question. One last one.
No, I'll ask you. You can ask your question. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. All right. So do you believe that Allah is the most loving?
Yeah, that's part of his attribute.
Is that an eternal attribute?
Yeah, it's part of his attributes and part of his eternal attribute. Yes.
Okay, good. And do you believe he is fully independent? Allah is fully independent and eternal.
Yes.
Good. Now, my question to you is: can Allah use the attribute of the most loving without creation?
Well, that's part of his attribute, but the actualization, we don't need to see it.
That's not what
So,
I asked.
for example, he's the creator, but we don't know what he created before creation.
It's not what I asked.
Doesn't mean that now he's not God.
Can you repeat my question? It's not what I asked. Can you repeat my questions and make sure you heard my question correctly?
No, you said basically, does God need love for? Does he basically rely upon his creation for love, this attribute of him?
Yeah, I said, can he use the attribute of most loving without creation?
By use, you mean actualization?
Mm-hmm.
By actualization, then I'll say no.
Okay, so he needs creation in order to actualize it.
Yeah, in order for us to see that mercy, yes.
Okay.
But
there you go. So now this attribute is a part of his nature, correct?
Yeah, it's part of his attribute.
So now there's a part of his nature that is now not being used and cannot be used unless there's a creation, correct?
Yeah, the actualization, we don't see it.
Okay. Well, then now this will now, and thank you for answering those questions. But here's the implications that now this would bring. This would bring two things, and you can tackle each one or just one if you want. Number one, it would mean that if this attribute is eternal, meaning unchanging, then you just described a change within the attribute of being inactive to active. The second problem it brings is that there's something within his nature that depends on creation in order to be used. Which one would you like to tackle?
No, you can start with the first one.
Oh, I already brought it. So okay, how do you respond to that? That there's something within his nature that changes, meaning that he's no longer eternal.
But how does it change when we actualize it, when we actually see it?
Yeah, the actualization being from inactive to active would be a change.
What would the problem be if the actualization happens?
Because if it wasn't being actualized prior, right, the attribute, that means it was inactive, correct? Like the ability was there, but it was inactive.
For us, we don't see the actualization, so we don't know what happened before then.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what you just said.
No, I'm saying us as creation, we don't know about his attributes. We know that these are part of him. We don't know what's happened.
We know it's his nature, right? These attributes are within his nature. They have to be because they're eternal.
Yeah, the actualization, we don't see it because again, we're creation.
That's fine, brother. That's fine. You can say whatever you want. We don't see it. That's not what I'm asking. I'm just saying that there's a change. If that actualization did not happen until creation, that means it wasn't actualized before creation, meaning the attribute was inactive. If it went from being inactive to then active, then that means there's something within Allah's nature that changes.
No, but you're supposing that essentially he didn't use the actualization before us. And again, as I said, I don't know if it was.
Oh, okay. All right. So are you saying, Bob, that you don't know if because you made the claim that it wasn't actualized until creation. Now, are you retracting that? Or are you saying that it's possible it was actualized before creation?
No, I'm saying for us, we don't know. Just because he doesn't actualize it doesn't mean that he hasn't used it before.
Okay, so just because he has, okay, Bob, I'm gonna restate what you just said in a different wording, and I just want you to clarify what you mean, please, because you just said this is essentially what you just said. Just because he doesn't actualize it doesn't mean he's not actualizing it. Can you explain what that means, please?
No, I'm saying to you, his attribute, just because he doesn't actualize it and we don't see it, doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Because you're saying essentially it came into being. I'm
not arguing whether the ability exists or not. I'm arguing. I'll grant it to you that the ability is there and always been there. But if the ability went from inactivity to activity, that ability changed.
But you're supposing that essentially he's basically never used it before.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm assuming because you agreed to it. You agreed that he didn't use it until creation. Are you saying that he used it before creation?
No, I'm saying that just because we don't see it doesn't mean that he hasn't actualized it.
Okay, so are you saying, okay, good, I heard you already. Are you saying that he used it before creation?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying to you.
Okay, so let's think about it. If he did, I know you said you don't know. I'm not trying to hold you that you know. But let's think about it logically. If he did, who could he have used this ability towards?
As I said, I don't know.
Okay. Well, let's think about it. Okay. It can't be creation. Number one, option one can't be creation because we're asking before creation, right? So creation is not an option. Second, is there another eternal God? Well, no, that can't be the case because you don't believe in any other eternal God. Is the third option would be, well, is Allah multi-personal and still one God? Well, no, you guys don't believe in the Trinity. So what other options could there be?
Well, again, you're limiting God, so
I'm not limiting anything. I'm just asking what other options could there be?
Well, this is knowledge outside of our understanding.
I'm just asking what other options can there be? There's none, right?
Because explain to me how, for example,
is there no other option, Bob?
For me, as I said, I don't know.
Okay. Well, then look. Okay, good. Well, look, Bob. Here, I'm not gonna completely annihilate you for this. Okay. But I still want people to see what the inconsistencies are here. Okay, Bob actually did accept the challenge and started answering the questions. So I'll give him credit for that and respect for that. That he went ahead and actually did what I did and started answering the questions. But I just want the audience to see that when we get to this point, though, and although we give him credit for being honest, the answer is I don't know. The answer is I don't know. We don't have answers for this. And if we think about it logically, we know that the reason why he has to say I don't know is because there's no way he can actually use his attribute before creation, which means that his God changed. So, anyways, Bob, thanks for coming. I'm going to go to the next guest, but respect to you for at least answering the questions. All right, let's go to the next guy.
Also,
Yeah, go ahead, peace.
I think it's limiting God to say that he has to be unipersonal, but that's just me.
Yeah, that's true.
My love.
You are right. That is also limiting God to say that he can only be one person. Only one. Guys, don't forget to hit the follow button on Peace, who is on the panel. She will be going live after me on TikTok. Also on YouTube. On the YouTube. She has a YouTube. No content yet, but coming soon. If you are on the YouTube, the description is in the video description of this stream. And her link is right in there. So make sure you go hit that and hit the sub button. What's up? What is it? Outrageous? Yes, I was just addressing you, my queen. Sorry. Yeah, what is it? Outrageous?
Yeah, outrageous.
Yeah, okay. Are you Muslim?
No.
Okay. I'm looking for Muslims, brother. But beautiful birds chirping in the back, even though it's kind of annoying. Yes, I addressed you as Peace, but just so people know who I'm talking about, but she is my queen, my love. She doesn't want me to address her as Peace. As Peace. Tap the screen, TikTok, please. And no, I didn't say peace just now. I said police. Police. Tap the screen. Please tap the screen.
They're just gonna be like, who's Peace?
Yeah, I know.
Bear.
Alhamdulillah. Yo, I was thinking about earlier. I think about somebody straight from Birmingham, Alabama, with an Alabama accent, who turns Muslim. Holy crap! Imagine those Arabic words. Holy moly. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, man. Alhamdulillah. Salam alaikum. Are you seriously? Or is that you? Come up, man. Please come. Or is that a girl? Sorry. Please come up. We need to hear your country accent as a Muslim. Holy moly.
Hey.
What's up?
I just like to say, like, I like what you're like talking about. It's kind of cranking my gears.
Okay. I don't know what that means.
So, I would love to answer some questions, but I'm not Muslim, you know.
What are you?
But if you can crank my gears, I fall under the Christian branch.
Okay. I don't know what that means, cranking your gears, man. That sounds... It could be strange or innocent.
You got me thinking of God more. Like, you got me going, you know, in my mind. Like, is it this? Is it that?
Oh, okay. All right. That's good.
Appreciate what you're doing here.
Yeah, okay. In that case, then yeah, that's good. That's good, man. Well, I'm glad I'm making you think, man. Yeah, keep on listening, bro.
It's amazing.
Yeah, amen, bro.
All right, yeah, I'll hang out. Amen.
All right, brother. Take it easy, bro. God bless. I know, Contriti. I know. I was thinking the same thing. I was giving the benefit of the doubt because it sounded like he was being genuine and not a troll. He wasn't a troll. He was being honest. Yo, that Arkansas LSU semifinals game last night was wild. Dylan, we could tell you're from Mississippi, bro. Because only people from Mississippi care about college baseball, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, guys? You know what I'm saying? Ain't no way, man. Are you wait? Hold on, Dylan. Are you from Mississippi or Louisiana? Either way, same thing, bro. Same. Either way, same. If you say God is not God until He creates, that is a flawed argument. I'm not saying God is not God until He creates, bro. That's not what we're saying. It's not. We don't say that God is only God because He creates. We say God can create because He is God. But that's not like the only reason. Like that's not like he's not hanging his existence on creation. You feel me? All right. Who else wants to come up? Got a couple minutes before I gotta tip on out of here. Couple of minutos. The question is Allah from Islam illogical or not? That's the question. Tony Montana.
What up?
What's up?
Is Allah illogical?
Yeah, are you Muslim?
Am I Muslim?
Mm-hmm.
Alhamdulillah. I'm Muslim.
Alhamdulillah.
I believe in one God, not three.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So I think it's very, very, very logical.
Really?
To believe in one creator, no partners.
Nice. Okay, let's see. Let's challenge that, okay? So is your God, is He the most loving?
The most merciful, most gracious.
And the most loving?
Most merciful, most gracious.
And the most loving?
The most merciful.
You're not going to answer questions, are you?
The most gracious.
Come on, we could do it. Are you okay with also the most loving? Al-Wadud?
The most merciful, the most gracious.
Tony, how are we going to have a conversation if you're not going to answer questions,
man?
A
conversation? Like, what are you looking for?
Well, I asked a specific question.
Don't
I'm trying to, but you're dancing. So here, look, stop dancing for a second and pay attention, okay? The question was, is He the most loving? Your answer that you gave me was about being merciful and gracious. That wasn't part of my question.
Yeah, my God is the most merciful, most gracious.
Correct. So are you saying yes, He's the most loving?
That's why He's the most merciful and most gracious.
Okay.
If He wasn't loving, He wouldn't be merciful and gracious.
Okay, that's all. So all you had to say was yes.
Yeah,
okay?
I mean, come on, merciful and gracious. If you're not loving, why would you be merciful and gracious?
Okay, bro. Okay, is Him being the most merciful, is that an eternal attribute?
I'm not that religious to, answer.
Then why are you here, bro? Why are you here?
I'm here because to answer your question.
Yeah, but you're not religious enough to answer this question. You just said it.
Okay.
What the hell?
Saying Allah illogical. I'm telling you it's logical because
it's not logical.
Allah the one.
Here, it's not logical. Here's why. Here's why it's not logical. Because you believe because you
Jesus
believe.
Oh,
Tony, don't go into robot mode, bro.
Jesus call
Don't go. You're not religious enough to ask questions about another religion. Okay.
When did He call?
You're not. You're not religious enough of your own religion in order to ask about another religion. Okay? So we're not going to go in robot mode, bro. Tip on out of here. No, thank you. What's up?
Peace.
What's up? Hey, I don't consider you a Muslim. No offense. This is for Muslims, but I don't know. Do you believe that your God is unipersonal?
Say unipersonal. What's that?
Just one person, not three persons like the Trinity.
Yes, Allah is one.
Okay. Do you believe in His 99 names as being eternal attributes?
Eternal attributes. Yes, eternal attributes. Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, well then let me ask you this: is one of his 99 names being the most loving?
Allah is love, not the most loving. He is love.
Okay, he is love. So that means
Yeah.
he doesn't need. He doesn't. It being that he is love, that's a part of his nature, right?
No, that is his essence. That's his
That's
essence.
his essence.
Love
Okay.
is his essence.
So his essence just means that's how he exists, right?
He is what he is.
Right. That's how he exists, right?
Okay.
All right. And he doesn't need anyone else in order to exist, correct?
No, he has no partners.
Okay, good. All right. My question to you is this: can he express the attribute of love without creation?
No.
Say it one more time.
No.
No.
No. What's the point of creating then?
So he cannot use an attribute of his essence, which is what he is and how he exists. He cannot use that without creation.
No, that sounds like you're putting limitations on Allah.
I'm just repeating what you just agreed to. So do you not agree with that?
No, I don't agree with how you're saying it. That's what I don't agree.
So how would you say it?
I would say that Allah loves himself. That's why he's able to create and make an extension of himself.
Okay. So do you believe that loving yourself is the only form of love?
That's the greatest form of love.
Is loving yourself?
Yeah. Preserving your life.
Is that true for humans?
Your essence.
Is that true for humans? Wait, preserving your life in what?
Preserving your life, preserving your essences. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And do you believe that's true for humans?
Yes, we're all supposed to preserve our life.
Okay, cool. So are you saying that if you were in a home and the home is burning and your child is in there and you have a choice to save yourself or your child, you would say that the highest form of love is saving yourself?
No, it'll be saving my child.
No. You said the highest form of love is loving yourself.
Yes, and my child is a part of me.
No, your child is not a part of you, dude. What are you talking about, man?
Yeah, the child came from me.
What?
So
It doesn't matter if your child came from you. That's not a part of you. Okay, how about this? How about this? Okay, how about this? Okay, no worries. Yo, no. Hold on, Mr. Bay. Hold on. No worries. Let's change the scenario. House is burning, and your wife is in there. Okay? And your wife, you have to choose between yourself or your wife. You're saying the highest form of love in this scenario is to save yourself, correct?
Yes, that's
okay.
correct.
W, GG's. Hey, guys. Hey, hit them. Hey. This is the true Islam.
My wife and mine in one flesh. So yes, I'll save my wife. And my wife has to be taken care
Oh, okay.
of.
So you're gonna go past the loophole of the one flesh thing. Okay, no worries. Here. Let me give you another scenario. Okay.
Why gotta be a loophole?
Yeah. Here. Because it's silly to say this is a party. Hey, here we. Okay, no worries. How about this? Okay, here we go. How about this? How about the wife of a friend of yours is in the home with you, and it's burning. Okay.
A friend of mine.
Yeah. And your friend is there too, and you can save. You could save. No, your wife is not there. You were at your friend's house, and his wife is there, and the house starts burning up. All right. You can save both of them, or yourself. You have one choice or the other. Is the highest form of love saving yourself?
Yeah, so I'll be saving myself.
Okay. All right. There you go. W's. Highest form of love. It's the highest form of love is to save yourself, and you would say that if you chose to save to save them over yourself, that is a lower form of love. You would say that's true?
I don't understand how you're saying that.
That's a lower form of love. You said that's the highest form of love, is loving yourself. So
preserving life is the highest form of love. That's what it is.
Yeah, which life though? Yourself or someone else's life? Which one's a higher? Which one's a higher one?
See, that's the thing, and that's the thing that Jesus taught us, that everyone's soul is just as precious as his.
Brother. So you're okay. Good. Okay, hold on. So is loving someone else a form of love?
As long as loving someone else a form of love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Can Allah express all forms of love without creation?
Well, creation. I mean, I ain't never. I can't imagine that.
You can or you can't?
I said I can't imagine that. No,
Okay, so he cannot express all forms of love without creation?
again, it sounds like you're trying to put limits on the law.
I'm not. No. This is the funny thing. Hey, this is the funny. This is the yeah. How can he express all forms of love without creation?
What you mean? We already hear it, so it's like it's trying to fathom.
Mr. Bay. Here, the project. This is what another Muslim did earlier. The projection is crazy. I'm not the one that's limiting your God. The fact that your God is unipersonal is limiting himself, because he cannot express all forms of love without creation, meaning that he's dependent. Your God cannot be true.
Dependent on what?
On creation to express all forms of love.
Creation comes from Allah.
Who cares? Who cares? He depends on creation. All right, Mr.
I come from him, so yeah, I don't care.
All right, whatever. See you later, bro.
Hi guys.
Hello, my love. Welcome to the show.
1 second, let me go to the room. 1 second.
Celsius, if you're seeing this,
Sponsor me. Sponsor us.
Sponsor us.
Please.
All right. I want you to do it, and then when you sponsor us, like do an ad of like this moment, like way before anybody else. What's up?
So what's your initial debate?
Are you a Muslim?
Yeah.
Yeah. My argument is that your God being one person, unipersonal, is illogical.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, dude, you have a lot of noise, man.
Say it again.
I don't think we could do this, man.
Hold on, let me go to the photo. Is that better?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's better.
So what's? Yep.
Okay. All right. So the argument is that your God being unipersonal, right? Unipersonal, not multiple persons like the Trinity, for example, is illogical.
Why?
Well, because he cannot ground certain attributes of his without creation.
Okay.
Like,
So
for
what's the
example,
argument? So
the argument is this here.
If there's no creation, yep.
Yeah, the argument is this, okay? Like his attribute of being the most loving, you believe that's an eternal attribute of his, correct?
Yep.
You also believe that Allah is fully independent. He doesn't need anyone else in order for him to exist, correct?
That's true.
Okay, good. Now, the question I have for you is, can Allah express all forms of love without creation?
But to who?
I know. That's your problem, not mine.
Exactly. You just answered it. You just
That's
answered the
your-
question. If
that's
there's
your-
no creation, who are you going to express your love to?
Right, so the answer is he can't, right?
But to who?
Right.
That's the question.
So there's no one to give love to, so he cannot do it, can he? Right? He can't do it.
That's why he created us.
Right, because he needs us. Yeah, I know. That would mean he's dependent.
He doesn't need us.
He does. In order to love, he does. In order to love, he does.
I will put it for you in another term.
Moe, in
Let's
order.
say, for example, do you want me to answer you? Or do
Yeah,
you
yeah.
just want me to
There's a
listen
little
to
bit.
you?
There's a little bit of a lag, but I do want you to reply. If you're going to reply to the fact that he does need us in order to love. But go ahead.
No, he created love for us, not for him. He doesn't care if we love him or not.
That's not what I asked. Can he love without creation?
You said he doesn't need love. He doesn't need to love anymore.
So then it's not an eternal attribute then?
It's not his needs. It's our needs.
Is
It's
it a
human nature to love. It's not his nature.
Yes, it is. Do you don't think the attribute of being the most loving is within his nature?
Because we love him.
Hey,
Not
are you,
because he
Moe?
loves us.
Moe, if we're going into robot mode, okay, then this is not going to go anywhere. Okay? If his
I'm
attribute,
answering you.
hold on. If his attribute is eternal, it has to be within his nature. If you say it's not, then that means this eternal attribute is something else. It's another God. So you would have to say it's within his nature.
We can argue about this, about not only love, we can argue about a lot of things also being created, and you say without creation, it has no need. It's not only love. Love, it's been created for human because it's in our nature. It hasn't been created for God.
So God doesn't have love in his nature?
Hey, he is loving in his nature, but he created it for us.
Yeah. Who
I
cares?
think you got the terms mixed.
No, Moe.
Who cares?
Moe. Who cares who cares if you think it's for us, not for us, whatever the case is, okay? My point is this. Does he need us? Hold on one second. Does he need us in order to use his attribute of love?
He doesn't need us.
Okay, good. So he can use his attribute of love, correct? Without creation.
Again, I'm giving you the answer for it, but I don't think you quite
It's just
understand
yes or
it.
no, bro. Can he use the attribute of the most loving without creation?
There's questions I can't just give you no without explaining the answer. So I can't just say no and just you say, oh, okay, I got my answer, bye. It doesn't work this way.
Yeah, Moe. I think you understand what's going on here. If you say no, he cannot.
But you
If
just
you
want
say
me to say no, and that's it. You
no,
don't want me to
I
explain.
don't.
You just wanted me to say no,
You
and then
lose
kick me
either
out.
way. You lose either way. Here's why. If you say no, then that means you concede he is dependent on creation in order to use something within his nature. If you say yes, he can express love without creation, then you need to prove to me how he can do that. And you can't. You can't prove that. Because it's not possible.
Just let me add. Can I have 2 minutes, or do you want me to just
No,
leave
2
this? It
minutes?
just makes
Hell
sense
no.
if you just
Hell no, I'm not going to give you 2 minutes. But respond. Give me an argument.
Oh, so you just want me to say no and just carry on, don't you?
No, I just want you to pick a position and argue it.
Well, let's say, does he need the ocean? Why did he create the ocean? He doesn't need the ocean.
Yeah,
We need it. He doesn't
brother.
care about the ocean. We care about it. Same as love.
Yeah, you're silly now, bro. You're silly. But anyways, thank you. Thank you so much, Good Salt, on YouTube for the super chat. The 2 hearts and the Orthodox cross in the middle. I'm assuming you are Orthodox. Shout out to you, Good Salt. I don't know if it's a brother or sister, but God bless you, my Orthodox brother or sister, for helping us hit the super chat goal for the day. But thank you guys.
To my Celsius fund.
The Celsius Fund. What's
Hey,
up?
how's it going?
How you doing?
Good. So I think that's part of God's, for us, that's one of God's attributes naturally. He doesn't need to depend on creation to have love.
Okay. So who is he expressing love to before creation?
Can you love yourself?
Can he express all forms of love without creation?
Yeah, I think that's a theological question.
Yeah, I know.
So
all of this is
Yeah.
theological.
Yeah, absolutely. So no, I don't think he's dependent on creation to have love. That's just part of his.
I know that's your claim.
nature.
I know that's your claim. Okay, so now we're gonna test your claim to see if it's true. Because just because you're claiming it doesn't mean it's true. Okay, so let's test it. If he is the most loving, if he doesn't need creation if he doesn't need creation in order to love, can he express all forms of love without creation?
I mean, not necessarily. I guess I can see your point on it.
Okay, so the answer is what?
He's naturally loving and creation is here, then yeah. So technically, actually, the answer would be yes.
That he can express all forms of love without creation?
He could, because that's in his nature.
Okay, good. So a form of love would be prioritizing someone else ahead of yourself. Like, for example, giving to the poor that the Quran tells you to do, right? Would you agree that's a form of love?
Sure, yeah.
Can Allah express that form of love without creation?
He doesn't need to give to the poor. He is
I'm
the
ju-
creator of
I'm
that.
not, I didn't say I'm not. I'm just using it as an example, which is
Oh,
with
yeah.
loving someone else. Can he express that form of love without creation?
No, I think you're thinking way too deep on it. Like, I know what you're trying to
What do you mean I'm
say,
thinking
but
way
it
too
doesn't
deep?
make any sense
What doesn't make sense about what I'm asking?
because you're looking at it from like a human point of view. He's God.
Oh, so you're just appealing to the love doesn't mean what we think it means?
Not in the nature of God's love. It's
Oh,
different.
okay. So God's love is different. So what is it then?
Yeah, because you're Christian, right? I'm just assuming.
Yeah. But what is it? What is it? If it's love, if he is described as the most loving, is not what we think it is, then what is it? Why is he called the most loving then?
Because that's just his nature. He
Right.
is the
What?
most loving.
No worries. What does that mean then?
He is the most loving. It means
What
what
does
it
it
means.
What does it mean? What does it mean to be the most loving?
The most merciful, the most forgiving.
Yeah, that's not what I asked. I asked about the most loving. What does it mean to be the most loving?
What does it mean to be the most loving?
He chose that Arabic word. That Arabic word is a human creation, okay? Humans created Arabic. And Allah, when he revealed his attributes, he used the Arabic language and he chose the word al-wadud, which has a meaning prior to Islam, okay? So he chose those words for a reason. But you're saying that that word and what it means is not what it means for Allah. So then what does it mean?
No, I said it doesn't mean what it means for humans.
What does it mean for Allah then?
But in the Bible, it says Jesus is the
I don't
most
care
loving.
about the Bible right now. I'm talking about your God.
Well, I want to understand your points of view of what you're trying to clarify. It's not really, you're not really making any sense. You're saying God
We're
can't
making
be the
perfect
most
sense.
loving and then
Loving-
telling me that
loving-
goes against what
loving-
the Arabic word means. I think you're not really making any sense to me personally.
Yeah, I know, because what it actually is doing is attacking your worldview. So here,
It's
here's
not
what
actually because
it
my
is.
mother's Christian.
Oh,
so you're really not.
No. It's attacking. I don't care if your mother's Christian.
I went to church for most of.
Hey, listen, you're not going to talk. You're not going to talk. You're not going to talk over me. Okay? Yeah, when it's attacking your worldview because your current worldview is Islam, and the thing is, the only reason why that this is not making sense to you is because if you go along with my questions, it's actually going to challenge your worldview as him being the most loving. You either need to say, I know what it means that he is the most loving, or it means something different than what it means for humans, and you would need to substantiate that.
Or say, I don't know. Stop lying.
Yeah, that too. You can say, I don't know, but that just means you're stuck. You don't have an argument for this.
You can't say something isn't if you don't know what it is.
So, I don't know if you're talking, but you are muted. When you're outside of TikTok, it mutes your mic.
You want me to say talk because you keep muting me.
Okay. So, anyways, what does it mean that Allah is the most loving then?
So that's all it is.
Yeah, your connection is bad now.
It's just like how it keeps calling me.
Your connection's bad now.
Okay, hello?
Yep.
Okay, so your argument is just how is God the most loving? And that makes Muslims wrong?
No, that's not my argument.
Is there anything else?
It's not my argument. My argument is, how can he express all forms of love without creation? That's my question.
Because he's God. How did your God die? You know what I'm saying?
So you don't have an answer.
It's really not funny.
It's hilarious because you don't have an answer.
He's God. How did your God
That's
die?
That's not it.
How did your God
Because
die?
he's
How
God.
did your God take
Here,
shit?
because he's God. So you don't have an answer. You don't have an answer. Thank you for showing the ignorance of being a Muslim, especially a female Muslim. Because according to your prophet, if your prophet was here right now, he would say the reason why she can't answer this question is because you're deficient.
I was Christian before I was Muslim, so I would like to iterate that.
That makes it worse.
It just means you were smarter before.
Yeah, like because
No,
if
it
your
doesn't.
prophet was
I
standing,
realized
look,
that-
listen.
No, to my core value.
If your prophet was here right now, your prophet would actually would agree with me when I say, you know what? Maybe the reason why she can't answer this is because she's deficient of the mind. And your prophet would be like, you are right. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. You have listened. You have listened. He would say, Alhamdulillah, yes, you have been listening to my sayings. You have been listening.
All they do is yap and talk about their emotions, and they don't have an answer. So.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sajida.
She was here?
Yeah, she was requesting up. Sorry, Sajida. Hold on. You would have been perfect to talk to that chick. Oh, hold on. She's coming back up too. Here we go.
Oh, my love.
Get muted every 5 seconds.
Sorry.
Habibti, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Why do you think that, do you feel more validated when you tell people that you left Christianity and became a Muslim?
I like to tell Christians that makes
when
them
I go,
Muslims,
when I
that
go,
not all that not are just born Muslim. You know, I was born into a faith of Christianity, and I reverted to Islam. So yeah, it does make me proud. Essentially,
when I go on, I'm speaking.
Mm-hmm.
When I go up on Muslim lives to absolutely destroy your false God and your false prophet and your false faith, I never tell them I used to be a Muslim and now I'm a Christian. Why does that make you feel important?
Because that's just the way I feel. Because I can have opinions and I have free will, just like you have free will.
So
That's not something you want to do. You don't have to do it. It's very simple.
You're not here to defend your falsehood. You're looking for validation.
I don't
You
need
know
your
why you're looking for validation? Because deep down in your soul, you know that you made the wrong choice. So now you're panting.
That's
and you
why
gotta
I'm on here.
Panel to panel and bark like a dog and tell everybody you used to be a Christian and now you're a Muslim to make yourself feel better about it because deep down you know you did the wrong thing.
If I did the wrong thing, I'd be a Christian.
You went to a religion that allows marrying little girls, where your Allah tells
Where in the Quran does it say that it's okay?
Yeah, chapter 65, verse 4.
It says marry little girls?
Chapter 65, verse 4.
Okay,
You
let me
also
check.
went to a religion where your Allah tells your husbands that they could plow you like a field, okay? You also went to a religion where your Allah tells your husband that he could beat you. You went to a religion where your Allah tells Muslim men that it's okay for them to take non-Muslim women as captives and rape them.
Bro, it's so true you did that after that.
Sorry. No, I don't know where she gets off coming. I used to be a Christian. No one cares. You're up here to defend your faith, so do that then.
Really, you care. Clearly, you care so
do
much
that.
that you
Defend
actually
your
have to
faith.
come on this panel and let me know.
No. This is my house. What are you talking about? You have a single personality, false God, okay? Where literally Bear is dismantling because Allah is illogical, and he's asking you how is this attribute eternal? And you come out of your face. Oh, did your God die? Is that all you guys have? You guys are robots. You're an absolute robot. Anyway, you're cooked. Your God tells your husband to withhold intimacy from you as a form of punishment. So I'm sure that's what you're going through. Your husband is probably holding intimacy from you to discipline you. That's why you're looking for attention and validation everywhere else, other than your house, other than your husband.
Why don't you listen?
We all know if you truly love Christ for Allah, we all know it's because some cute Arab guy with an oily tongue and hypnotized you, and you decided to love him more than Jesus. We already know what it is, Habibti. Yalla, go. You can go now. Have a good day. Thanks, Bear.
Hey, Kabibti. All right, Sajida. Well, thank you.
Sorry, brother. I know you don't like to do that in your life, but how many times is she going to tell us that she went to falsehood?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, God bless you guys.
See you later. God bless us.
Bye.
See you, Sajida.
I love you, peace. Bye.
She's probably like, how's he talking muted? Everybody always gets confused when we talk to on each other's stuff. Like I did yesterday on yours. It was actually kind of funny. Saw your name light up.
No.
What's up?
Yeah, I'm here obviously to make my points and clear and all them stuff that you want to know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm on here on the live.
Okay, bro. Did you hear the argument? I know the last guest, we didn't really get to the argument because she was being crazy, but did you hear my argument as to why Allah is illogical?
I came a bit late, so like I was
All
in
right, no problem.
like 5 minutes into it, like 3 minutes into it.
No problem. I'll restate it for you. So I'm assuming you're Sunni, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay. All right. So according to you, you believe Allah is eternal and independent, right?
Yes.
Also, you believe He's the most loving.
Yes.
And that's an eternal attribute of His, correct?
Yeah, He is loving and also like He's severe in punishment. Like obviously His mercy is like there, and also the consequences that people do. He's also severe in punishment. As He's most merciful, He's also severe in punishment. Meaning that if people go against His consequences, and if people go against His laws and what He has decreed for them, He's also severe in paying them. Like obviously, for them not obeying Him, He's also like obviously severe in punishment, as He is merciful. So He's merciful to those who obey Him, and obviously He's like obviously He's severe in punishment those who go against His laws and His principles.
Okay, bro. I'm not asking about that, but okay. But thank you. All right. So my question to you is, can Allah express all forms of love without creation?
Say that again, sorry.
Can Allah express all forms of love without creation?
So without His creation, like if He didn't have a creation,
Yeah,
can He express love still?
all forms
Question?
of love. Yeah, all forms of love. Yeah.
Yes, of course. Yeah, like obviously Allah, like obviously loves us more than our parents. Yeah, of course. Like because He's
No, I'm
given
talking
us,
about
like,
before creation. Before creation.
Yes, before when no one was existed, His mercies attributes have always been with Him. Like He has not like obviously like them attributes that Allah SWT has got. He's Ar-Rahim, Ar-Rahman.
I'm just saying, can He express all forms of love without creation? That's my question. You said yes, right? So my next question is how? How can He express all forms of love without creation?
Because them attributes have been with Him since like the beginning.
Yeah. I'm not talking about.
So them attributes, them attributes that He has, it hasn't. It's not like it has never existed. It's always.
That's not what I'm arguing. That's not what I'm arguing.
From the beginning, even without creation.
Hey, Mufti. That's not what I'm arguing. Here, I'll ask it this way, so you know that I'm not arguing that. Can He use His attribute of the most loving without creation?
Yes, I mean, obviously, if something is there, like for example, if someone's existed, He will show His love, but that love is still there. That love is still there with Him to express. Yeah, the love is still there to with Him to still express. Basically, do you understand my point?
No, I don't. Sorry, can you say it again?
Like for example, if I didn't have my kids, like just say like I had no kids and there's no one there, like for example, my love is still with me. Do you understand? Like
yeah, but you're not loving your kids though.
If I didn't have like for example, I love my kids. For example, yes, I love them. Like many fathers do.
Right.
So just say if I didn't have kids, understood? My love will still be there. Like for
your ability,
kids,
your ability to love your kids is there. I agree with you, but it doesn't actualize until you have kids, right? Like you can't use your ability to love your kids until your kids come, correct?
Yes, but
right.
Your love is still there.
Right. No. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. That's logical for a created being like you, right? And me, right? We have abilities, and our abilities go from inactivity to activity. Those because we're within time and we change, right? I have the ability to walk. I'm not always walking. I go from not walking to walking because I'm within time. I'm a creature, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Allah is not a creature, according to you. So that type of
He's the creator of
right. He's the creator of everything. So He cannot be a creature, right? But He also cannot behave like a creature. So if He goes from having an ability to not using it to then using it, that would be only something a creature can do, not a creator.
Yes, the creator's attributes are different to the creation. Yeah.
Right. Okay, brother. I don't think you're tracking. Okay, so listen to my question again. The ability of being the most loving has always been there. I'm going to grant it. I'm going to grant it to you. Now pay attention very closely. Before creation, the ability of most loving was there. Can he use that ability without creation?
If there's a need for him to use it, yes,
I'm just asking, can he? Does he have the ability to use it without creation?
Yeah, he can use it. So what's your next question? Like,
okay, good. If the answer is yes, he could use it without creation, then I want to ask you how. How can he use it without creation?
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. I understood your next question. That I knew what you were about to ask after that.
Good, then answer it.
That's why. I know. I knew how you were about to word it.
Okay, answer it then. Answer it. Answer it. Answer it. How can he use it without creation?
Obviously, he's got other, like obviously humans are not only the creation of Allah. Allah SWT has other creations like angels too.
Brother, pause. Mufti, pause. Mufti, pause. I said before creation, so I don't care if Allah has 100 trillion other creations before humans. Before all of those creations, can he use the ability that he has to be the most loving? Can he use it without all creations?
Yes, he can, because his attributes have always been there.
How can he use? No worries, it's been there. The attribute is there. There's no creation. How can he use the ability of the most loving if there's no creation? How can he do it?
And exactly that's what I'm saying. If a creation comes into existence, he can show
before creation. How can he? Can he do it before creation? Yes or no?
If there's nothing there,
then no, right? Then no, he can't, right?
The thing is, if
then no, right? Is the answer no? Is the answer no now?
The answer is that his attributes have been there since the beginning.
I understand. I already granted that to you. That's not what I'm asking. That's not what I'm asking, Mufti. Mufti, that's not what I'm asking. Stick to the question. I reworded. No, you're not. No, you're not. You said yes, and then now you're saying no. You need to pick a position.
How can I show my love to, like, for example, if I didn't have my kids here?
Exactly. That's my point. Okay, good. Mufti. Yeah. Exactly my point. That means that your God cannot use the ability that he has before creation to love without creation. So the answer is no. Hold on, Mufti. Hold on, Mufti.
How are you gonna use your love when there's nothing there?
Mufti, shut up. Like, shut your mouth. Seriously. Because you're not actually answering the question. You know what this is bringing, and you're not listening. If the answer is no, he cannot do it without creation, then that means your God is dependent on creation to use the ability that he has. That means he is dependent. He cannot be God. He's illogical. Now respond to that. I swear, if you bring up one more time that he's always had the ability after I granted it to you, like, you're getting dropped. You're muted, bro. Okay.
Yeah, can you hear me now? Yeah. I thought I was unmuted. So, for example, for you to show love, for example, like if you had kids, your kids need to exist for you to show love, or else you're not loved then. If your kids are not existed and they're not physically there.
Yeah, I can't. I in order for me to love my kids, I depend on having my kids in order to love. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, but we don't depend on Allah. I mean, we depend on Allah. Allah doesn't depend on us. We depend on Him.
He does, because he can't love, because he can't love without us. He does. He depends on us. He can't love without us.
No, but his attributes have been there. Like, if you understand.
Yeah, they're there, but he can't use them. They're there, but he can't use them without creation.
He can use it whenever he wants, like whenever he
okay,
chooses.
But he doesn't. But here's the thing. But here's the thing, Mufti. Here's the thing, dude. You're just.
I was told to be taken.
Yeah, shut up, bro. Shut up. You think just talking and fast forward is gonna help you? Like, it's not gonna help you. Yeah, it was always there, and I told you if you bring that up again, you're getting dropped. So you're dropped. So you're not confused. Yeah, it was always there, and but he cannot freely choose to use the ability without creation because he can't. There's nobody he can give that love to other than creation. So even if he wanted to express that and that attribute without creation, he cannot. He cannot. It's not possible. So he is dependent on creation to use an attribute of his nature. What's up?
So yeah, this picture triggers them, but it's no different than wearing a bikini at the beach. But they will go after me.
Oh, shut the hell up, bro. Who gives a damn? What, like, you're gonna come up here to play victim? The hell? What's up?
What's going on?
What's up?
I'm ready to debunk your argument.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
It's an illogical question that you're asking because
Which question?
what you said was,
Yeah, go ahead.
if a God is dependent on his creation, then he can't fully love. Doesn't that mean Jesus is not a God then?
No. This doesn't apply to us.
Answer that question.
It doesn't apply to us.
Does it not apply to you? Is
Because we,
Jesus all loving?
we don't believe in the same metaphysics you do.
Well, that's okay. That's come on.
I mean, come on. Oh, man, come on. Come on. We don't believe in the same metaphysics as you do, bro. This doesn't apply to us.
Okay, what do you believe? What is the metaphysics that you believe in?
It doesn't matter. According to your metaphysics, this would be illogical. Because how can it... Go ahead.
So,
Go ahead.
who did your God love before creation?
Okay, but that question it's in and of itself is illogical. Do you need a car? Do you need a key before you drive a car?
I just
Of
answered
course
the
you do.
question. So he loved. So
Thank you.
so what's your answer? No one. Or he doesn't.
He'll love whoever. No, he'll love whoever he wants to love. That's what makes him a God.
Who's the
He's
whoever?
omnipotent. He requires on nobody.
Who is the whoever before creation?
Whatever. It's clearly beyond us as humans. We don't
So
understand.
that was.
So he doesn't know. He doesn't have an argument.
You don't know.
Okay, but for Jesus, okay, who is it for Jesus then? Who is before? Who did Jesus love?
So
before
are you
creation?
conceding you don't have an argument? So it's a concession. You don't have an argument.
No religion has an argument. What is Jesus? Who did Jesus love?
So you concede. You say I don't have an argument.
No, but it's an illogical question.
Say,
it's like saying the sky
no,
is
it's not.
green.
No, it's not. It's not an illogical question.
It's a very illogical question.
It's not an illogical question just because you don't have an answer, bro.
So prove it in Jesus' form. Oh, because it's not the same metaphysics. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Fastest,
Brother.
the fastest growing religion for a reason. And all you guys can say is a 9-year-old girl and 9-year-old kids. Come on, there's so many Christians out there.
Get the hell out of here, gang. This guy is like, oh, it's an illogical question, and the only reason why he's saying that is because he himself doesn't have an answer. If he doesn't have an answer, it's illogical. He is infallible.
They come up here. I'm gonna debunk you, and then they don't have an answer.
Bro, get the hell out of here, man. Oh man, hilarious, bro. All right, let's bring Bob up. At least Bob will answer questions. What's up, Bob?
You know, the problem with your question is that just because God doesn't actualize his attributes doesn't mean that essentially his attributes rely upon something else. Like, for example, I have a question for you. Do you believe that God is the creator, the unique creator?
We already answered this question for you. Yes.
So he's the unique creator. So what did he create before creation?
Nothing.
If he didn't create before creation, then he's relying upon creation to be a creator, correct?
No, because here's the thing. We're not saying that him being the creator is an eternal attribute. It's not necessary for him to be God.
Then essentially you're saying that his creation, because look, for him to be a creator, he needs to create, correct?
Yes, but it's not necessary for him to be God. Bob, follow along. Here, look. I'm gonna just lay out why this doesn't apply real quick. I want you to listen, and then you can go ahead and ask your question, okay? The reason why this doesn't apply is because we are not saying, like you say, for example, the most loving, most merciful, most gracious. According to Islamic metaphysics, these are eternal attributes of Allah's nature, okay? So that means these attributes are necessary in order for Allah to exist. Okay. Now, we would say that we would agree, for example, the most loving, right? Or him being love. That is a necessary attribute of God to exist, because that's an attribute, an eternal attribute of his nature. But him being the creator is not an eternal attribute. It's not something that's necessary for him to exist. Okay, it's a temporal action.
It's not necessary as being a creator. Then did this come into being? Was it power?
He doesn't need to be a creator in order to be God. That's my point.
No, but he's the creator.
I know he's the creator, but he doesn't need to be the
He's
creator.
the creator.
But he doesn't need to be the creator to exist, bro.
Yeah, that's the argument with love. If he's all loving, that's because he doesn't actualize his love.
Hold on,
does
Bob.
that mean he simply relies upon his creation?
Bob,
Same argument.
Bob, hold on, bro. Yeah, when you're making a claim as to an attribute is identical to something's nature, you're talking about how he exists or how that thing exists. Okay? So if he is the most loving is an attribute of how he exists, then that means it's necessary in order for your God to exist. We are not saying that him being the creator is an attribute that's necessary in order for him to exist. It's not something that is an attribute of his nature.
So did it come into being, or was it always part of him?
The action of creation is a temporal action.
No, creator.
The reason why he is titled creator is because he did the temporal action of creation.
So before this action, he wasn't a creator.
Before, he doesn't need to be the creator to be God.
That's my point. That's
Right.
the same argument with love.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Just because he doesn't actualize the love doesn't mean that essentially.
Yeah, brother. Listen. Here, Bob. Let me phrase it this way. I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt one more time. If you're not tracking here, then either you're slow or you're purposely just being dumb. Okay. If you were to say that him being the most loving is not an eternal attribute, it's a temporal action that Allah does. It's not a part of his nature. Then I would agree with you. Then my argument would not stand anymore. I wouldn't even bring this argument, because it is logical to say that this is a temporal action and not something that's a part of his nature. But that's not what you guys believe. You believe this is an eternal attribute of his nature.
No, but what do you mean by temporal action?
An action, temporal just means within time. It's just an action within time. So if this is an eternal attribute, it cannot go from inactivity to activity. It needs to always be active in order for it to be truly eternal. Otherwise, you're describing change, which would be a contradiction.
So him being a creator is not internal.
The creation is not an eternal action. No, it's not.
No, him being the creator.
Him being the creator is a title that's given because he did a temporal action, and it's not an eternal action.
So can he be a creator without being
if there's no creation, he's not the creator. No.
Then he essentially is not God then.
No,
he relies upon his creation.
Dude, Bob, listen, Bob, you're an idiot, bro. I just said we don't need, God doesn't need to be a creator to be God. I said that to you about 5 times. According to our metaphysics, he doesn't need to create in order for him to be God. In your metaphysics, that's true. That's why Salafis like Ibn Taymiyyah would say stupid things like Allah was always creating eternally. Because according to your metaphysics, he needs to be creating to be God. We don't have the same metaphysics. Our metaphysics are logical and sound and coherent. Yours are not. They lead to absurdities and infinite regress and God changing and everything being nominalism and everything being absurd and unrealistic. That's what your metaphysics leads to.
It's not, because essentially you're saying that the actualization of his attribute, that's because he doesn't actualize.
See you later, bro. All right, guys, that wraps up my day. Thank you, guys, for another episode of Muslims Say the Darnest Things. They say the craziest stuff in order to dance around this idea of God still being one. We worship one God. Go ahead, Ben. Put it up. One God. Don't keep it up. Keep it up for you. One God. We only worship one God. One. Okay? We don't worship two. We don't worship three. We don't worship man. We worship how many? One.
One man, Muhammad.
One God. One God. Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay? One God. Okay? 3 in 1 shampoo, not logical.
3 in 1 shampoo, not
3 in
logical
1
because it's still shampoo.
because it's still shampoo, okay? Oh, hold on 1 second, guys. Shout out to Yeah Same. How about a little more? I'll take a little more. I'll take a little more. That was a little more for the Celsius fund. Shout out to Yeah Same for the super chat on the YouTube. On the YouTube. We hit the goal today, guys. We hit the goal, okay? JJ Abduls, do you throw out logic to defend Momo at all costs? The answer is yes. You know why? Because Allah is one. Allah is one. He could only be one. Okay? That's the most logical. That's the most logical. Anything that fits Islam is the most logical. Okay? If it doesn't fit Islam, not logical. Not logical. Okay? Guys, do me a favor. Hit peace, my love, on the panel. A follow on TikTok and on the YouTube. Her link is in my description. Go check out yesterday's video. All right? Somebody tries to bring the LPT argument, and I actually force him to bring an argument and not just make stupid claims, and I'm not going to respond to your stupid claims unless you give me an argument. And he gets frustrated and leaves because he didn't get his way, where he talks to most Christians and he brings an LBT argument and Christians bite the bait and fall into a trap. I didn't fall for your stupid trap, right? So I want you guys to learn from that to understand how argumentation actually works. Wow, you people are truly stupid, man. But Allah is one. That's truly stupid. That right there is truly stupid, okay? Anyways, what's truly stupid is believing that Allah, the creator, the most loving, is one and only one, and before creation he was one, but how was he loving, huh? Did he need something to love? The answer is yes. All right, what's stupid is believing that your God is fully transcendent, independent, and eternal, and then say he's the most loving, but just one. Okay? Anyways, guys, love you guys. God bless every single one of you guys. We'll be back again tomorrow, as usual.
Maybe I'll actually get a word in tomorrow.
Yeah. These Muslims, you know how they be.
Especially the half-brains. Can't wait.
Anyways, God bless you guys. YouTube, love you guys. Oh, by the way, we hit 5,000 subs. Woo, let's go. We hit the 5,000 mark. I think it was yesterday, the day before yesterday. Thank you guys for the growth on the YouTube. It's been amazing. I had no idea I'll be at 5,000 subs at this point. Okay. But thank you guys. The only reason why is because of you guys watching and all the love that you guys have been showing. So thank you guys. More stuff coming. All right. It's been a little slow on content this week. I'm going to try to pick it up a little bit to make up for it. But the reason is because she's here. Because she lives so far away from me, we only spend a certain amount of time. Soon it will be that we can be together forever, and we won't have to worry about. We don't have to worry about spending time when we need to spend time, because we're going to be together all the time. We can actually have a schedule and be consistent. Okay, but this week is going to be a little off because of it, and I'm not sorry for it. But I'm sorry. But I'm not sorry. But I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Love you guys. I know that's a contradiction, but it's not, because Allah is one. Okay. Love you guys. God bless. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, the only one true God, the holy triune God, the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, now and forever, and to the ages of ages. Amen.